All right, welcome to video 3 of the chain rule. And video 3 is devoted to keeping track. And this is really the hard part. The chain rule itself, pretty straightforward, I think you'll agree. But the difficulty is in the details. So when I look at y equals sine of x squared plus x, it is clear to me that this is my u, my g of x. So let's call that g of x. And therefore, this must be my f of u. And what I'm going to call this now is I'm going to talk about the idea of the inside out rule, which is that you start at the inside of a function and you work your way outwards. So it can be helpful on a more complicated function to say, okay, which is my inside function, which is my outside function, and are there any functions in between? And if there are, what order do they come in? Starting at the very inside, working your way to the very outside. So this one, if I think about this, I know that the derivative will be equal to the derivative of the inside. Whoops, meant to switch to red. The derivative of the inside. Wait, did I just say that? Yeah, the derivative of the inside times. I said that completely backwards. My apologies. The derivative of the outside, which I clearly have written up here and then just said the wrong word, times the derivative of the inside. So I start with outside, and this is f prime of u, and then I multiply it by inside, which is u prime. And then, of course, I write everything in terms of x. So how do I do this one? Well, here we go. Y prime equals, well, the derivative of the outer function is cosine. Cosine of u, but I can just leave the u right in place instead of writing u and then having to go back later, times the derivative of u, which is 2x plus 1. Yeah. So we'll do some more examples in just a second. This is going to be a really short video. Why don't you go ahead and do exercise 13? Actually, maybe I'll just do the next example right away. So pause for a second, do exercise 13, and then come back. Okay, so let's just go straight to the next example. This will be example 4. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an inside-outside rule, but my function, g of t, is tangent of 5 minus sine of 2t. And you can maybe already start to see the issues. So let's start with inside. What is my inside function? Well, my inside function is 2t. So I'm going to label that inside 2t. Well, now I don't just have an inside and an outside function. I've got a middle function. And my middle function is 5 minus sine of, what do we want to call this? Do we want to call this 5 minus sine of u? Let's just say that 2t is equal to u. We don't have to, but my middle function is that 5 minus sine of something. Okay? My outside function is tangent. Tangent of whatever, squiggly push. So what I do here to take the derivative is I just start at the outside and I work my way in, multiplying them all together. So I'm going to take the derivative of tangent. Number one, well, the derivative of tangent is secant squared. And then I'm going to leave all that stuff alone. Times, number two, derivative of the middle. Well, what's the derivative of 5 is 0. The derivative of a negative is negative the derivative of sine. So that's cosine. And then I'm just going to leave that part alone. Finally, times, step 3, the derivative of the inside. Well, the derivative of 2t is just 2. There's the derivative of a very complex function, starting with the outside and just working my way in. Derivative of tangent times the derivative of 5 minus sine times the derivative of 2t. Again, leaving the inside the same each time. Notice that 5 minus sine 2t didn't change. Notice that 2t didn't change. So it's always the derivative of the outer function with whatever's inside not changing times the derivative of the next function with the inside not changing times the dot until you run out of levels, until you run out of functions to take the derivative of which to take the derivative. All right. So why don't you guys do exercise 23? And before you go, and then I'm going to end this video, I recommend color coding. To begin with, until you get good at this, just go ahead and color code. Have some colored pencils with you. Pencils are nice because you can erase them. And just start by color coding. Start at the inside and say, which is the furthest in function? Circle it in one color. Switch colors. What's the next in function? Circle it in the next color, just like I did here on this page. And then, starting with the outside color, just start working your way in, taking this derivative and multiplying things together. Okay, off you go to 23. We'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.